By the way, that hope that I mentioned earlier about trade was sparked by a report that China's vice premier spoke on the phone today with Treasury Secretary Mnuchin and with Trade Representative Lighthizer. There was also a perceived positive step at the close of the 2-week-long National People's Congress in China. Eunice Yoon has more details on that from Beijing for us.
The main event today was the passage of the new foreign investment law, which could be a signal that Beijing is willing to make compromises on its trade deal with Washington. In a highly unusual move, the draft law was revised at the very last minute to include language that addresses a long-standing issue facing American companies on IP theft. One of the big complaints is that if companies want to introduce a new product or open a factory here, they need to go through a licensing process with a government-led board and give a lot of proprietary information. This has been seen as a method to steal secrets and pass them to Chinese competition. The new law is meant to address those concerns, barring officials from divulging trade secrets and threatening them with criminal penalties. The American business community here sees this as a positive step, though there is the question of how it will be implemented. At his annual press briefing, Premier Li Keqiang said he hoped the U.S. and China would produce a good trade deal. He also became the highest-ranking official to attempt to ease fears that Beijing is using technology made by Chinese firms like Huawei to spy on other countries. He said, "Let me tell you explicitly that this is not consistent with Chinese law. This is not how China behaves. We did not do that and will not do that in the future." On the economy, the premier outlined measures to stabilize growth. The most important tool, he said, big reductions to taxes and other fees. He said previously announced value-added tax cuts would kick in April. Social insurance cuts would start in May. And he repeated that China wouldn't engage in a flood-like stimulus. For Nightly Business Report, I'm Eunice Yoon in Beijing.